Philadelphia's schedule has officially dropped. While everyone's freaking out over the difficulty, the details are a lot better than you realize. Plus, what the Birds' latest move means for Justin Simmons, like the Ringos offseason just got a lot harder. Oh, and Philadelphia just lost another key piece of their NFL draft success. And Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. All right, well, I'm back from my vacation, 10 days in Greece, no Eagles videos for a long time. There's a lot of news to go ahead and jump into, starting with the brand new schedule release, which if you haven't seen yet, well, here it is. And I know what you're thinking right away. Yes, it does look pretty hard. Not just because it is actually the fourth hardest schedule in the entire league based on last year's win totals, but it's also the first time a Super Bowl champion has ever had a season where they will never play back-to-back home games in NFL history. And naturally, the media is already trying to turn on the Birds, despite the fact they just won the Super Bowl, by giving them some very early L's.
There's a real possibility the Eagles could start 1-3.
Give him an L right there, bro.
Go ahead. Devontae Adams, I see you.
1-3.
But it's a slow start. It's just a slow start.
Despite Philadelphia actually right now being favored, according to Vegas, in every single game this season, except Week 2 against the Chiefs and the Week 17 matchup versus the Buffalo Bills. Although I do think the winner of schedule reaction videos yesterday has to be Lane Johnson appearing on Chris Long's podcast to react to a fake schedule drop where Chris Long said, "Hey Lane, you guys are playing in China this season."
Are you ready? Drumroll. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the schedule on the screen so you can see it. Are you ready?
Let me stare at the screen real hard. Whoa, wow. Yeah, I'm looking at all these and going, Jared Verse, Thibodeau.
But, bro.
Abdul Carter.
Do you see October 5th?
Where is October? Baltimore Ravens in Shanghai. Is this in China?
Yeah, dude. Dude, how about the fact that you got to come back from Shanghai and stop in L.A.?
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to do. We'll leave there, and then we'll probably just say that week in L.A.
Dog, this ain't, hey, I can't. This ain't your schedule, bro. You're not going to Shanghai. That's me with you. I got the real schedule. You ready?
Yeah, hey, I was going. I was like, dude, there's no way we're playing in Shanghai. I heard that. Touche on that one. I said, there's no way. Look at these. And we got hard teams every week.
Now, some other key schedule highlights, including having 6 primetime games, as I expected, which right now is second most behind Kansas City and Dallas, although I don't know why they keep putting America's team on that many primetime games, but whatever, and also having 35% of all the Eagle games this year not on a Sunday. But instead of starting with going game by game, let's focus on some of the good and bad parts of the Eagles schedule. First, let's go with the bad, and I go right to the start at the beginning of the season. Yes, the Birds will play host to the Dallas Cowboys in the Week 1 opener, but with Sirianni's 4-0 record in season openers as the Birds head coach, Philadelphia outscoring the Cowboys 75-13 in their first 2 matchups last year, I think that should probably be an easy dub. Despite the fact Cowboy fans love to point out Dak Prescott's 9-4 record versus the Eagles, although when he actually plays the Birds starters, he's just 5-4. But Dallas aside, the beginning of the Birds season is pretty tough. Week 2, they travel for an afternoon matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs for a rematch of Super Bowl 59, and then host one of the NFC favorites in the Los Angeles Rams, before making the now traditional, for whatever reason, September trip to 100-plus degree Florida to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, arguably the biggest boogeyman for the Birds in the entire Sirianni era. They cannot beat Tampa. Followed closely by a pretty difficult Week 5 matchup against the Broncos. I think Denver, especially their defense, is going to be much improved this season. This 5-game stretch to me is the hardest in the entire season. It's kind of like that stretch towards the latter part of last year when Philadelphia played the Rams and they played the Ravens. If they can get hot early, which they didn't do last year, this could be a very good kickstart for Philadelphia starting off in 2025. Also, it's sounding like the date for our Eagles meet and greet in the NovaCare complex with the Philly Dawgs is getting closer to having an official date, as Josh Davis and I are going to bring a few of our subscribers to Philadelphia to have an ice cream party with Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, and Keely Ringo. We're still waiting on the Eagles to give us the official date, but it's sounding like it's going to be at the end of May, probably 2 weeks from now. Make sure you guys drop a like on today's video and subscribe, the way you can be entered to go ahead and win. Now, tough opponents and lack of consecutive home games aside, the schedule to me has a ton of positives that everyone's missing. For instance, Philadelphia only has to travel 15,924 miles this year, which is the 11th least in the entire NFL and the least in the entire NFC, which compared to last year, Philadelphia traveled in 2024 over 22,000 miles during the regular season. Plus, the bye week this year comes to me in the sweet spot right in the middle of the NFL season in Week 9. A traditionally more preferred bye week, as injuries can usually, hopefully not though, tend to pile up towards the end of the season. Now sure, the Week 5 bye last season turned out to be kind of a game changer. Philadelphia could reset after the 2-2 start. They got hot, but normally a Week 9 bye is really good news. I personally also think the Birds have a very easy finish to the season. starting on Week 13 versus the Chicago Bears on that post-Thanksgiving Black Friday game, and then finishing with the Chargers on Monday night, the Raiders in their final 1 p.m. kickoff, and then Commanders, Bills, and Commanders again. And yes, I know the Commanders are getting a ton of hype right now, but I think they can be a little bit overrated this year, and by this time of the season, I think we'll definitely know for sure. Plus, Buffalo, I think, is going to be great this year, but in Week 17, that has a chance to be a way less competitive matchup than their 2023 thriller, as I bet Buffalo has already locked up the AFC East by this time and could have a lot less to play for. And to add some more good news on top, Philadelphia this season has 6 non-divisional road games this year, 5 of which are against playoff teams from this past season, although all 5 of those games come against teams with a little bit of extra rest for Philadelphia because of a Monday night game or a Thursday night game, and so they're going to be well rested when they play their best opponents. In the end, though, I trust this current team enough to at least get to 11 wins. And personally, I'm going to go with a 2-2 start, though, with losses to the Chiefs and the Bucks, and then 4 straight wins heading into the bye week to get back to 6-2. Philly then beats the Packers after the bye, but loses to the Lions to go 7-3, and then goes 3-1 through weeks 12 and 15, with the 1 loss coming to the Chargers. Finally, Philadelphia beats the Commanders and Bills to lock up the NFC East, and then probably rest their starters in week 18, so they'll lose to the Commanders, so right now I have them at 12-5. Now sure, Philadelphia could lose 1 extra game, 2 extra games, maybe they win 10 games, 11 games. It's all speculation right now. We don't know which teams are actually going to be good this year besides the Eagles, and who are not going to be good this year. Give me your record prediction down below in the comments section. I'm curious where you guys are at after seeing the schedule. I do think it's worth reminding you, though, this is the defending Super Bowl champions we're talking about. And I honestly think they got better this offseason, especially in the NFL draft. And it's not just me saying that. How about notorious Eagles hater Chris Sims telling Kay Adams the other day, this is the best franchise and maybe the best team we've seen in over a decade.
The Eagles are, I would say, the most well-built, well-orchestrated football team maybe we've seen this century, Kay. That's the first thing. I mean, this is like no weakness anywhere. It's the best offensive line in football. It's the best D-line in football. It's the best running back in football. It's maybe the best duo of receivers in football, right? It's a damn good quarterback in Jalen Hurts. The secondary's young, but super talented.
Now, of course, I haven't done a video in over 10 days, and so I did miss some news I want to go ahead and touch on, starting with, of course, re-signing Dallas Goedert. Goedert returning on a 1-year restructured deal that is much cheaper than his old contract seemed impossible just a few weeks ago, as trade rumors were going nuts before the NFL draft. And honestly, I said many times I was convinced he was going to be dealt. But despite the fact that reports did confirm after the extension that the Colts and Broncos were very close to making a move, Goedert's intention was always to try and stay, if you believe this tweet from Mike Garfolo, and it shows just how great the Birds front office was trying to go ahead and navigate this whole situation. Garfolo said this, quote, "The team had trade offers for Goedert during the draft, but he was in the loop. Decided to remember the team and selflessly restructured to try to run it back." That right there is part of the brilliance of Howie Roseman, right? You could go ahead and not keep Dallas Goedert in the loop, make him upset, and then even if they're not able to find a trade, he's upset, they got to cut him. It could have turned into a massive mess. Instead, they let him know what's going on, offered him some different options. Goedert decided ultimately to come back to the team. No bridges were burned, and now Philadelphia gets one of their best receiving weapons back for another year. Now, a trade that did happen while I was gone was the Dallas Cowboys trading for Steelers wide receiver George Pickens, which at first sounded pretty nice. 3rd-round draft pick, sure, until you realize George Pickens is a complete head case and has no shot at being able to keep his cool under pressure, especially with the drama in Big D. Plus, Philadelphia already played George Pickens earlier this season, and he put up a pretty solid goose egg, so honestly, I'm not too worried. This, of course, will add some extra juice to the Week 1 matchup. I'm definitely circling Kelee Ringo here. He obviously was a UJ Bulldog when George Pickens was there. They practiced a bunch. He knows his style. Can Kelee hold up if he's named the starter? That remains to be seen, but definitely keeping an eye on Kelee Ringo during training camp. Now, staying with the secondary while I was gone, I did have to laugh at yet another confirmed report that Justin Simmons wants to come to Philadelphia, this time by NFL insider Brian Baldinger.
He wants to come to Philadelphia. He wants to be there. They drafted Andrew Mukuba out of Texas, which is good. They've drafted Sidney Brown to go with Reed Blankenship. There's players there, but nobody with the numbers, the interceptions, like really the leadership that he can provide.
Here's my take on Justin Simmons. I've had this for the past month or so. I think Philadelphia would like him if they need him, but they drafted Drew Mukuba. They have Sidney Brown. What's going to happen is you're going to get to training camp. The Eagles are going to go ahead and assess the safety position, and if they don't look good 1, 2, 3 weeks in, then you call Justin Simmons. But that's a long way from now, and so the idea that Justin Simmons could become an Eagle anytime, I don't buy it. You got to wait for training camp, and then you maybe have a late training camp addition like C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a couple of years ago. Now, I do think the big news today that a lot of people will miss is the loss of another key front office member in Brandon Hunt to the Las Vegas Raiders, which comes on the heels of the Raiders poaching the Birds' director of college scouting, Anthony Patch, just a couple of weeks prior. Now, Hunt is one of these behind-the-scenes Eagles front office guys who joined Philadelphia back in 2022 and even interviewed for the Patriots GM job this past season. From the outside looking in, it's pretty tough for us to know just how important of a factor Brandon Hunt has been to the Birds' success, but if you've watched the entire Eagles draft process the past couple of seasons and all the great players they've gotten, it's no surprise the rest of the National Football League is starting to take notice and wanting to poach some of Howie's right-hand guys. Finally, we got our first episode of the newly released Exciting Mike's podcast today on YouTube, which features Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship, and I think this thing is probably about to blow up.
Could the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning team from 2024 versus one gorilla win?
Now I feel like you take the average human being.
We're not talking the average human being.
I know, but I'm putting this in perspective. I feel like you don't have the Jordan Malottas, the Lane Johnsons, the Saquon Barkley of the, average human beings. I don't know.
Some of the big guys up first. Or
Like
we just
waves.
circle the gorilla and come at it at once.
Oh, and you might have noticed my t-shirt today. It's the Exciting Whites t-shirt, which I have to say is fantastic, from Game Changers. Shout out to them. They sent me a bunch of t-shirts I'll wear. I'm sure a ton. I got like 9 or 10 new Game Changer t-shirts. Link down below in the description box. You guys want to go ahead and check them out. Get yourself an Exciting Whites t-shirt, though. This thing is dope, and these guys are going to be great, hopefully, for many years to come. Now, I am officially back. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, and so the videos are going to get back to their normal routine. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. The winner of the helmet has claimed it. I'm shipping it off today because I got in late last night. And for those wondering, I was in Greece with my wife for our 1-year anniversary. Went to Athens, we went to Milos, we went to Crete, and then flew out of Brussels. Had an absolute blast, but I decided to go ahead and just unplug for 10 days, and so that's where I've been. I got a bunch of DMs asking me where I was. I did announce it on my final video before I left, but I'm here, I'm back, it's all good. Plenty of things happening. We're getting ready for some more OTAs at the end of the month. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.